Throughout time, major scales have been used to denote happiness within music, while minor scales have been used to denote sadness. For example, this is the sound of C major triad, as opposed to C minor triad. Do you hear the difference? Moving on, in this video we will be covering many topics pertaining to minor scales and the methods of memorizing them or any applicable use.
One helpful technique to remember the minor scales in increasing order of sharps is to use a mnemonic device. An electrician bought 4 cars giving dim arrows. A mnemonic device you can use to remember the minor scales in increasing order of flats is a dog group can't forget boring elephant acting.
Now we're going to learn how to find the minor keys by looking at the key signatures. Let's start with sharps. All we need to do is look at the sharp that is from the far right, which is at the end. When we only have one sharp, we know that the sharp is on the letter F. All we need to do is count one letter back from F, which is letter E, and that is our minor key. Let's go on the next one. When we have 2 sharps, the last sharp is going to be on C. And count one letter back from C, and that is letter B. And that is our minor key. Before we go into the next one, I want to remind you guys the pattern that we learned before, which is F, C, G, D, A, E, B. We know that letter B is the last letter of this pattern. So after we're done with the last one, we're just going to repeat this pattern one more time. But this time, the keys will have sharp with them. So when we have 3 sharps, the last sharp is on G. Count one letter back from G is going to be F. And remember, this time, the key will have sharp with them. So our minor key is going to be F sharp for this one. And when we go all the way till the end, which is 7 sharps, the last sharp is going to be on B. We count one letter back from B is A, so our minor key is going to be A sharp. And let's look at flats now. We're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to look at the flat from the far right, which is at the end. So when we have only one flat, the flat is on B. And this time, instead of counting one letter back from B, we're going to count 2 letters after B, which is B, C, D. And that is our minor key. When we have 2 flats, the last flat is going to be on letter E. And let's count 2 letters after E. E, F, G. And G is our minor key. When we have 4 flats, the last flat is going to be on letter D. And let's count D, E, F. So F is going to be our minor keys. And we know that F is the beginning of the pattern F, C, G, D, A, E, B. So that means we're going to start a new pattern one more time. But this time the keys will have flats in it because we're doing flats. So when we have 5 flats, the last flat is going to be on G. And let's count G, A, B. But remember, the keys has flats with them. So our minor key is going to be B flat. And let's do the last one. When we have 7 sharps, the last sharp is going to be on letter F. So let's count F, G, A. So our minor key is going to be A flat. And this is how you find your minor keys by looking at the key signatures.
As we've learned, every major scale has its corresponding minor, and now we will see a new trick that will help us find it. Also known as going to the 6th degree, one can find the relative minor from a major scale's key signature. When trying to go from a major to a minor scale, one should take the tonic of their major scale and count 6 steps up in that key. For example, if you're in A major, the key is A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Going up, 6 places in the key, you will reach F sharp, which is the corresponding minor for that key signature. Let's do another example. For B major, the key is B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. Again, counting up 6 steps, we reach G sharp, which is the relative minor. This is a great way for us to easily count down, even using our fingers, to a relative minor.
Typically, when finding the relative major key, it will have the same accidental. For example, B flat minor and D flat major both have flats, but that isn't always going to be the case. For example, F minor is relative to A flat major, where F minor does not have a flat and A flat major does. These few exceptions may be hard to memorize, which is why we like to use the phrase, "For a good breakfast, come eat." The first 2 words stand for F and A, where F minor is relative to A flat major and F sharp minor is relative to A major. This also goes for G and B, where G minor stands for B flat major and G sharp minor stands for B major, as well as for C and E, where C minor stands for E flat major and C sharp minor stands for E major. Hopefully now, when finding relative majors, it won't be confusing when you're trying to figure out which accidental to use.
The perfect example of using this method would be through A minor. A minor would start with A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, and whole step to A. In this video, we've shown many examples of minor scale construction, including using major scales, using key signatures, using an acronym, and pointing out the exceptions. Hopefully these methods will help you have an easier time creating minor scales.